And of course, one major important aspect of it is this. I am not trying to suggest that you should be an enemy with your ex. No. It could be your former boyfriend or your former girlfriend. It could be your former wife or your former husband or the one that both you were engaged to get married that never was. One thing you must discourage again is that if it is possible, change your phone lines. Change your phone lines. Discourage any form of communication except, hear me out, listeners, except in a situation where you are expecting that person to join you in that relationship again. And in this case, I am referring to those that are married legally. Because marriage by right, according to the provisions made by God, should be a thing of life. That means once you are married, it should be till death do you part. So in the event that you are trusting God that God will touch the heart of the man or touch the heart of the woman, you can still leave communication line open. Meaning that there will be no need for you to begin to change your lines and all of that. Meaning that you also may not need to begin to rearrange the settings in your house and all that, because you are expecting that somehow that God will touch the other person. In the event that you are not responsible for the person moving out on you and all of that, and you have not been convinced, you are not convinced deep down in your heart that this person had gone for good. And for those that are in relationship that are engaged and all that, or are just dating, keeping communication line open will encourage the person to be in communication with you, even when the person may not be calling you for anything related to the relationship. Right or wrong, when someone who had betrayed the relationship you share with him or her walks away from you, the hurt that you feel is one that it takes only God to take it away from you for life. Because each time you hear the person's name being mentioned, or you hear the person's voice, or you see the person, you get inflamed. Your heart begins to burn, no matter the number of years or weeks or months that had passed. Because the hurt that you feel will be rekindled when you hear the person calling you, or when you see the person and all of that. It becomes a constant reminder. It becomes an opener to that wound that was inflicted to your heart. And so one of the ways to help yourself ease out the pain you feel is to cut off every communication line. When you know that this relationship had ended, it had ended, and there is no going back about it, then there will be no room to continue to dwell in what is no longer existing. And let me derail a little for those that are even married. Some still communicate with someone that they were supposed to marry that couldn't work out. Somehow you are married here and your mind is still somewhere that you ought to have gotten married to that didn't work. It is dangerous. It is dangerous because it can open up some kind of door that could get your marriage crashing before you realize it. So this is what we are saying here. When it is over, it is over. Of course, before you can move on, you must close that hurtful chapter, like I said, in your life. Instead of thinking of all the things that went wrong, think of the things that were right. Instead of thinking of the things that went wrong, think of the things that were right. When you think of the bad times, think about how you can learn and improve on the situation, because there is always a reason for something. Nobody wakes up in the morning for no reason at all. wants to end a smooth sailing relationship that is so sweet, everybody is happy in it, the children are enjoying themselves and all that. Or the ones that are intending to get married and all that, they are getting on fine, and the woman does not disrespect you and all that, the man doesn't disrespect you and all that, he or she respects your family members, and to his ability, to her ability, he does or she does things that makes you happy. Nobody like that would want to just end a relationship, just wake up and just want to end a relationship for nothing. No. It's either there are certain things the other party is doing that this one doesn't like, or there is someone that has suddenly crept into the relationship that is carrying this one's attention away. He's stolen your heart, and your heart no longer belongs to the one that you have promised to get married to in 6 months' time or next year. Or your heart no longer belongs to the one you are married to, that you have had 1 or 2 children, or that you are married to and trusting God for issues. Some may even get carried away for longevity in bearing children. Some, after they are married for 2 or 3, 4, 5 years, and maybe a child hasn't surfaced in that marriage, some begin to get very disgruntled, begin to treat the woman any kind of way, simply because the woman hasn't conceived. But we all forget that nobody can give a child to anybody. It's only God. It's only God that gives children. God gives at his own appointed time. And for those who trust in God, God does not fail anybody. He does not disappoint anybody because he doesn't owe anybody. But you must trust in him that he is the only one that can give children. The only one. No other power in the world has the ability to give the children. And so that your wife hadn't conceived, or that you have been unable to conceive with your husband yet, it's not a license for you to jump out to want to go and try it elsewhere, and as a result want to contemplate to end the relationship. No, it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. So you move from that breakup, but of course you need to learn from your mistakes. Because like I said, something must have led to something. You have to sit down, reassess yourself. Maybe there had been issues that the man had been complaining about over the years, or the woman has been complaining about over the years, that he or she doesn't like. And you have not improved in all those areas and the like. And then, as a result, the thing led to the breaking up in the relationship or in the marriage. So, learn from your mistakes and then move on. And when you move on, don't allow your past to rob you of your future happiness. When you move on, do not dwell in the past because this had happened to me. For example, if a man betrayed you or cheated you or dumped you in a marriage or in a relationship, as a result of that, you no longer trust any man. Or a wife moved out on you, or your wife-to-be proposed, walked out on you and got married to another man. Therefore, every woman is the same. No, it doesn't follow that way, my dear listeners. It doesn't follow that way. There's always an exception. If you hold up your fingers, you see that all the 5 fingers created by God are not equal. They are not even the same. Both in size, in shape, and everything. So that means human beings created by God, given birth to by different woman from a different man, in a different family, can never be the same. Even Siamese twins from the same womb cannot behave the same, do not have the same characteristics as a human being. And so it is a very terrible mistake for you to carry the pain from your past relationship into your present relationship. You'll be treating that relationship unfairly because the person you are with was not responsible to what happened to you in your past relationship, did not contribute to what happened to you in your past relationship. So it will be unjust to rob Peter in order to pay Paul. It will be unjust for you to carry the sin of another person and put it on another person's head. Because this is the woman you are married now. Therefore, you see that woman with the mirror that you used to look at the wife that walked away on you, or the proposed wife that never was. You now use the mirror that you used to look at her to now begin to look at the woman that you are married to. That is unjust. It is unfair and unacceptable. When that relationship, you are satisfied. For those that are not married, please hear me well. I am differentiating those, cutting those in a relationship from the ones that are married. For those that are in a mere relationship, hoping to get married someday, or those that are cutting, or those that are already engaged to get married sometime to come, when it happens to you, you have to move on. And one of the ways you have to move on is after you have assessed yourself, reassessed yourself, looked at where you made mistakes and all that, accepted the kind of things you did that may have contributed to the breakup in the marriage, put them behind you, close that chapter, and restart life afresh. Restart relationship afresh. And one of the ways you can open a new chapter is that you have to start dating again. Because it is always too late to cry over a spilled milk. The Englishman will tell us. When you break an egg, throw it on the floor, it breaks up. However you gather it, can you seal the shell? The answer is no. You can only try to gather the contents of that egg. But how do you now seal the broken shell of the egg? That is how relationship is like. When someone had moved away from you and moved on with his life or her life, you are left in wonder, you are left in bitterness, you are left being unhappy, you are left with that broken hearted feeling. You are there, killing yourself, biting yourself. He is enjoying over there, she is enjoying over there in a new chapter that they have opened there. Beyond the chapter that you both shared. And so, you have to start dating. Don't put any expectations on the dates. For instance, do not begin to, first of all, when you meet a new date, the first thing that crosses your mind is that all these people, they are the same. All these ladies, they are all the same. They are all heartbreakers. Or all these men, they are the same. Who knows what this one also has in mind? No. If you allow an event that has happened to you define you, it's up to you. It's up to you. Someone used to say that you cannot shave my hair at my back without me being present. Is that not so? There's no way someone will cut the hairs on your head without your presence. That is the truth. So if you want to live in that broken relationship and just stick and stay in it, every day you are sad, every day you are unhappy, every day you are groaning and complaining about it, you are being bitter. You see everybody now as a devil as a result of the man that walked out on you or the woman that walked out on you. You make no progress. Your life will just remain standstill. But when you now restart a date, when you fall in love again, just stay in love in that relationship. Forget about that chapter that has closed. Because when you close that chapter and let it remain closed, then you can now remain in this open chapter and enjoy it and then move on from it. You see, for all you care again, why you dwell in that broken relationship, you may not even know why God extracted you from that relationship. For those that are yet to marry, because for those that are married, we always say that, well, when two people come together in marriage and all that, somehow, God has a hand in it, and in whichever way you have come together, try to make it work. And so, because I know that God is not an author of confusion, God cannot allow two people to come together only for God to engineer their splitting. No, God does not operate that way. You see, so for you that you were engaged and the man decided to break the engagement and move on and marry someone else, or the woman wakes up in the morning and says, you know what, I don't believe in this engagement anymore. Why not look for another woman? You never know if God just delivered you from some sad and terrible agony in a marriage in years to come. You never know. That's why it's important that you don't dwell in that disappointment perpetually, forever. No. Because in every situation, try to make the best out of it. When you do that, you will be helping yourself, you will be moving fast. And then gradually, you will find yourself enjoying again. You will find yourself being happy again. And then you will find yourself realizing that at some point you may even have to say, oh, thank God that I didn't end up marrying that man. Thank God that I didn't end up marrying that woman. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. I've had cases like that. I've had stories like that. I've had people come and share how God delivered them from the person that they were to marry. You see, so when bad things happen, like in this case, when a relationship is broken, do not only see the negative side of it. It could be also that God didn't see that person as being the ideal person for you equally. And so you need to get a life. Get a life and don't let the past. But let me tell you this. It may sound very hard to take. You may say, oh, Mr. Smart is talking because it hasn't happened to him. Often, listen, it is the seed of a current or past failure that fuels you to some very success that you have always dreamt of. What do I mean? Because past relationships give you a clearer picture of what you want and what you don't want in a relationship if you take time to examine it properly. What am I trying to say? You do not see only the negative aspect like I just explained. Also look at some positive aspect of it, because what did not happen in the relationship that you had just ended could have been responsible for ending that relationship. And it is a lesson that you need to learn in order to nurture the current relationship or the relationship you will get into. For those that are yet to get into another relationship, look at it from that standpoint. Hold on to you.